Daniel Levy was convinced that Antonio Conte was going to be the next Tottenham manager. He had briefed his nearest and dearest in terms of journalists that are close to Tottenham Football Club. The contract has been drafted. Daniel Levy and Tottenham expected Antonio Conte to sign. A change in demands and some further requests today have reportedly led to Conte to Tottenham being called off in the 11th hour. Daniel Levy is left furious. All that and much, much more. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Here we go. Tottenham Hotspur and Daniel Levy briefed the likes of Alistair Gold, the likes of David Heitner, and told them that they were all but certain that Antonio Conte would be joining. There were Tottenham journalists last night speaking out across the Evening Standard, The Guardian, TalkSport, stating this deal was all but done, talking about personal terms being agreed, which they were. The personal terms were agreed. But as Christophe Terroir told us last night on the Football Terrace, Antonio Conte has a habit of throwing a spanner into the works when a club he's dealing with think the deal is done. The Spurs media were briefed, the world's media were briefed that this deal was closing in. A new director of football has been appointed. But Antonio Conte started to demand more, demand more of more ambition from Tottenham, started to demand more in terms of transfer spend, players they want to bring to the club, and of course the overall ambition, as we've mentioned, for the club's desire to win. Of course, Conte was aware that he wasn't joining a Chelsea, he wasn't joining a Bayern Munich, a Man United that have a rich pedigree of winning, but he wanted more and he seemingly wanted to walk away. Matt Law has now reported that Tottenham have called it off. For me, I think there may be a little bit of face saving in this, but as it stands right now, big reports that Antonio Conte, after seemingly looking done and dusted, every credible Tottenham journalist out there said it looks more than likely that it's going to happen, right through to it's a done deal for Antonio Conte. It now appears to be off. We're going to bring you further developments as the evening continues. We're going to share the link for you to come on and have your say in the live comment functionality now as well. I know Spurs fans are going to want to have their say in relation to this. But what I have been told, I had a conversation this afternoon with a tier one journalist who will have to remain nameless at this moment in time, but I'll read you his words to me. He says, I've been slightly out the loop today because I've been busy as I've been working on other things. I said, but let me go back. I said, thoughts on Conte, do you think it will still happen? He says, I've been out the loop a lot today as I've been working on other things. But Daniel Levy, these are his exact words to me, is pretty fucked if he says no now. They were convinced they had him. The contract was drawn up. Spurs were beyond convinced. They thought they'd done enough. They'd thought financially, transfer budgets, players in, players out, and ambition was done. And Antonio Conte verbally agreed the deal and was said to be on his way to the UK to get the deal done and signed. And it now appears that it's off. That was there with a tier one journalist conversation I had this afternoon. His words, let me repeat that again. Daniel Levy is pretty fucked if he says no now. And I think one of the reasons why is because he's briefed people. He's briefed the nearest and dearest journalist to Tottenham Hotspur that this was a done deal. And you know what? We said this, Christophe literally said yesterday, that a lot of journalists now don't like saying something's a done deal until it's a tap-in, because these things happen. There are journalists today that said it was done because Daniel Levy told him it was done. And now it might not happen at all, let alone be close. So a real turn of events for Tottenham. It really, really is. And could this be the end now? Maybe the final nail in the coffin. And as if by magic, Fabrizio Romano has now just tweeted as well, saying Antonio Conte not joining Tottenham at current conditions confirmed. It's not convinced by the project and staff members. Big difference on salary proposal too. I've heard different on the salary from other tier ones, but this is not convinced about the conditions and the project. However, there could still be savior here. And when I say savior, I want to make sure I phrase this in the right way. Antonio Conte has reportedly done things like this before. He pulls the rugs from under feet. He makes big demands at the 11th hour to get his own way. The question I then also posed into the tier one when this happened is, I said, my actual response was, holy shit balls. But I turned around and said, blah, 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 blah. Conte is notorious for this. Do you think a resolution can be resolved? He says, I have no idea. Daniel Levy is pretty stubborn in these situations. He then went on to say, I think Man United should go for him. And we had a conversation about that. That's a chat for another day. But could Spurs still pull this out of the bag, or is it done? Is it dusted? Is it over? I want to hear from Spurs Rants fans right now, because right now there's only one word that springs to mind here. Spursy. This feels very, 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 very Spursy to me. It totally does. I thought I was going to have a nice, quiet Friday night, and then this breaks. So got to go to work. You know, I had to leave the couch. I have a night on the couch, going to watch a bit of Sopranos. But no, I'm working again now. But that is my life. Let's go to some of your live comments here. Convinced of Conte will get Nuno. Convinced of I don't know what that means. Try and write that again, bro. I don't know what you mean there. Kane will leave Tottenham. He could now after this is done. Spurs have done it again. Deshane here says, how the hell do you bottle signing a manager? Do you know where this will be embarrassing for Tottenham? Where this will be massively embarrassing is in the sense of, how do I say this? It's the third official rejection from a manager. And then there's all the other guys they've been talking to. What now happens? Poch is very unlikely. How do they now go back to Graham Potter? How do they now go back to Martinez or Southgate or Eddie Howe or any of these other managers they were talking to? How do they go back to them now and bridge the gap? Because the Conte situation was so public. Daniel Levy went to media outlets and said it's done. And now they've been rejected. And if Daniel Levy doesn't succumb to the demands, this isn't egg on your face. This is like a big fat ostrich has thrown its eggs at you. It's terror. It stinks. Daniel Levy's got to go. Daniel Levy has to resign over this. Listen, by the way, Alistair Gold and the journalists are not in the mud because they were briefed by Daniel Levy. It's not their fault. They were given, you can't get more official than Daniel Levy telling you it's done, right? You can't. But you noticed yesterday when I was talking to Christoph, who knows Antonio Conte personally, he just held back from saying, I think it's done, no matter what anybody else was saying, because he knows Conte. And it's mad what's happened here. First super chat of the night. This is from Gary that says, Levy on the phone. Hello, Harry. No. Can you listen? Eleanor will be happy. She wanted Harry back all along. Who knows? Maybe she's going to get her wish now. We are going to go to your calls very soon. Get your super chats in as well, please. As we know, Fabrizio has tweeted. He has come out. It is done. It is dusted. It is over for now. And Tottenham fans, there's not very many in the live comment section here at the moment. There's not very many waiting to call in and have their say. I'm not surprised because they must just be feeling absolutely just minds blown. Imagine that. This is how do I put this? This is legendary. This is, like there is some Peter Odemwingie sitting in the car park thinking he's getting the transfer and not getting it. Berbatov on deadline day. Remember the Sky presenter that got a dildo in the ear? This is like legendary. This is this is infamy here for Tottenham with the pursuit of their new manager. And they thought they'd fallen on their feet. Levy thought he'd done it. And it's now fallen fail. I actually feel sorry for Tottenham fans. I legitimately feel sorry for Tottenham fans with this because it's painstaking to watch your club go through it. Champions League finalists 2 years ago, to a point now where they cannot appoint a manager. And they're between a rock and a hard place. All the managers they could have landed, the fans don't want. All the managers everybody's excited about don't want to come. And now the managers that would have come know that they're second, third, fourth choice. It can't be spun any other way. What a mess. What a mess it truly is. Do me a favor, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, smash that like button, hit that share button. How are we on 1,000 viewers, but only 80 likes? What's going on here? Hit that like button, everybody tuning in right now. Share this stream across your social media accounts. Get that done right now. We're going to start going to your calls. We will share the link again in the comment section for anyone that wants to phone up and have their say. It's crazy. There's a super, look at this comment here. It says Spurs have no pull, no game, taking L's. I want to hear from Spurs fans. I want to hear you defend it. I want to know what's going on in your mind right now. We've got Igal backstage. We've got KJ backstage. We will be going to them a little bit later on in the show. I can't let them speak first on this, but we're going to go to Jerome. Jerome, we know, is a Spurs fan, here to have his say. How you feeling to this news, Jerome?
Mate, I'm telling you, this is the biggest con ever made. Biggest con ever made, ever. That guy, Daniel Levy, has just gone every single Spurs fan that has ever. This guy just made everyone sign for the new season ticket. Get everybody so excited and gone, yeah, he's coming, he's everything, he's doing everything. Like Conte is on, we're getting this one. Everybody goes, yeah, let's go and buy the freaking season ticket. And that asshole now just goes and back off from that. You're telling me this is how you run a fucking club? You kidding me? Come on, man. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. This guy needs to resign and get the hell out of his club. 20 fucking years, man. 20 years of this nonsense. And now he brings this to us. Only now. Come on, man. And now we're losing Kane as well. You got to be fucking kidding me. I'm pissed off more than anything else. That guy's a joke. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe this. And we had a chance of bringing Poch back, and he fucked it up as well. I mean, like, seriously, he should never had appointed like freaking Mourinho in. He should have kept Poch in, and he fucked us up. Seriously, big time. I'm sorry I'm swearing, but fuck, man, this is ridiculous.
Let it out.
Jesus.
Let it all out. Has Daniel Levy got to resign now, in your opinion?
Of course he has to resign. 20 freaking years, man. 20 years of this guy. And all he has to show is one freaking Carling Cup. Are you serious? And every time he's saying, oh, he's being serious. He wants the Tottenham way. What Tottenham way? Tottenham way's been dead for 60 years, man. What Tottenham way? We want freaking trophies. Bring it now. I'm so sick of this guy, man. Jesus Christ. I can't believe it. The one guy we could say at least could bring us something, could bring us hope. Now it's all gone. I mean, who the hell? He's pretty sure he has spoken to him, and he goes, oh, we can't give you this, we can't give you that, we can't agree to any of your demands. So fuck off, man. Get out. I mean, like, I'm so sick of this, man. Like, we are done. Like, next season, who's going to be on? Ryan Mason? Come on, seriously? Is that the guy? Because I'm pretty sure, I'm convinced that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in Ryan Mason and for another freaking season, and then we're done. That's it. It's dark days for us. I'm seriously, I cannot believe this. I'm like, it's 5 a.m. here, and I'm reading shit like this. This is ridiculous, man. Oh, I'm so done.
And you've got to be awake. You've got to be awake all day with this news now.
Yeah, all day I'm going to have to hear that. And now all I can hear from rivals is that your club is a joke. It's like, it's Spursy. I'm so sick of hearing this word, man. Like, every single thing we hear is Spursy. I'm like, what kind of club can be, what kind of fans can be always be having this fucking word telling us, you guys are Spursy? Fuck this, man. This is ridiculous. I am so done. We are such a joke. This is ridiculous, man. Of all the things we could wait it on, and after that, oh yeah, He's on. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Season tickets. Every single fan, I'm pretty sure, have signed their season tickets, got their season ticket, and then now they pulled this off on us. Like, we just went, yeah, we got your money now. Fuck off. Jesus. Ridiculous, man.
Do you know what? It's listen, I don't think you're too far from the truth, you know. It's even the way they've tried to spin this through Matt Law. Spurs have walked away. It's like, whoa, what do you mean Spurs?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's crazy that, you know, they'll try and come out with, there'll be some cotton. His demands were crazy. He was asking for too much money. I just think I feel your pain, sir. I feel your pain as a football fan in relation to this going on. What's next for Tottenham though? Like, who's realistic out there now that you think you can get at this late stage?
No one. How? Okay, you tell me, Terry. How on earth are we going to go back to the Potters, to the I can't even know the other guy, the guy from shit, I forgot his name. Anyway, I'm so pissed off right now, I can't even remember. Like Martinez and all that. How are we going to go back to any one of them? Daniel Levy has been public to anybody. Oh yeah, we're getting Conte. We're getting Conte. Like, how on earth are you going to go back to any one of those managers? How are you going to say, oh yeah, we didn't get the guy you want to come? You're not going to mug us off. They're not going to tell us. They're not going to come. All we're getting is Ryan Mason next season. That's it. I'm telling you, we're getting freaking Ryan Mason again next season, and we are done.
Mate,
I
listen,
mean, like, Jesus.
I hear you, and I feel your pain. Thank you for phoning in, Jerome, and appreciate all your support on the terrace, mate, and we'll speak to you again soon. Top man. Listen, I feel that pain in his voice. You can hear that. And look, we all laugh at our rivals, but there are times where I'm almost at a loss for words, really, when it comes to that situation. And Spurs fans should be angry right now. They should be angry because, you know, that's Jerome's words there. I never even mentioned the season ticket thing, really, in the build-up to this. Spurs fans feel like they've been lied to for tickets, memberships, and whatever else has been put forward. Speaking of Spurs fans, Alex is going to be on next to have his say with us right now. The super chat from Gary here that says, that's the secret, captain. I'm always that's the secret, Cap. I'm always angry. If you don't watch Marvel, you may not get that quote there. Next on the show, Alex is here with us. I'm interested to know, Alex, do you feel let down by Daniel Levy and Tottenham Hotspur with their atrocious approach for Antonio Conte?
It's been terrible, Terry, from day dot. The planning has been absolutely terrible. I called it after Mourinho got sacked. They didn't know what they were doing. They got lucky with the fact that Conte had enough of his time at Inter Milan because he wasn't going to get backed. And this just was terrible, absolutely awful. The fact that they had to do this after everybody renewed their season tickets just shows you what they're all about. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm just flat now, to be honest with you. I've got I had no clue who it was anyway in the first place, to be honest with you. But, you know, Daniel Levy's got a lot to answer for as far as I'm concerned now. And there's one guy I know that absolutely despises Daniel Levy. And I can understand now why he feels like that, you know, because it's terrible, you know. And I think it's becoming really toxic now. I mean, the director of football, that's a good start, I've got to say, because we need a structure sorted out, definitely. But I just can't accept someone like Potter. I know I said, but it was a question you asked. You gave me the option of Potter or Conte. It's not that I wanted Potter. I wanted somebody like a Pochettino who wants to work 5 years. You know what I mean? But I would have accepted Conte. But the thing is, with the whole thing with Mourinho, are you going to back him? It's so clear now that you weren't going to back him. So it's becoming embarrassing now. It is becoming embarrassing, and that's it, really.
Mate, listen, I understand it's becoming embarrassing, but what's next now? I mean, Potter is probably the best alternative that's out there. Maybe Maurizio Sarri could be approached. But do you not feel that it's becoming worrying now because you've approached so many managers and you've been publicly rejected now 3 times, maybe 4 times, depending on what publications you read? Like, it's going to be so hard, isn't it, to now attract managers who feel like, well, I'm 5th, 6th, 7th choice. Everyone knows it. Like, are you getting concerned that you may end up with Ryan Mason next year?
I predict. I was actually making that as a joke, mate, that we're going to get Ryan Mason in, because you know what? Like I said, I keep on saying this statement. When you sack Pochettino and sack Mourinho, the way that you sack Mourinho a week before the cup final, with who's won everywhere he's won, why would a top manager want to risk their reputation to come to Tottenham? The fact that Conte even looked at it was surprised me, because he must have looked at it and thought, whether you have the opinion of Mourinho, like you know my opinion already, he's looking at it and thinking, well, if you don't back Jose, why are you going to come to me and back me? Like, I don't want to risk my reputation. I'm high up here. You know, I want to keep that up here. Thank you very much. Yeah. I don't want to go lower than that. Thank you very much. So, and it's been proven over the 20 years the way that we've been acting with our managers. So you can't really go past it, can you? Really? So I honestly don't know what we're going to do, Terry. And it's not the fact that I don't have an opinion. It's just that I can't predict what Daniel Levy's going to do anymore. You see, I mean, I had to come on because at the end of the day, I'm part of the football terrace. You've given me the opportunity to be part of the football terrace. I've got to face up to it. You know, we're a joke. We're an absolute joke. And I've called it from the very get-go. I wasn't having a rant with you after that. I think it was after the Wolves game, or I can't remember what, after that Wolves game, and saying I didn't care about the result. But because I could see it. I could see that they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were doing. And all we talk about is Harry Kane. Because Harry Kane's not even the issue. We should be thinking about the team.
Yeah, but Harry Kane's very likely to, I mean, the appointment of a manager like Conte or Potts returning, someone with credibility, somebody with panache, somebody with some gravitas within the game could have kept him. The likelihood is now, if you're appointing Martinez's or Graham Potter's, Eddie Howe's, can you conceivably see a manager like that convincing Harry Kane to stay?
Kane was off last season, mate. I'm sorry if that answers your question, but Kane was off last season. We actually just persuaded him to stay last summer. So to me, to be honest with you, Kane can do whatever he wants for me. You know, he should just do whatever he wants. He should buy his contract out, because unfortunately he's got a 3-year contract. Yeah. So really, the power is still with us, in if you know what I mean. In my opinion, he should go and run, because, you know, he's 28. Is he 28 now? I don't know. But 28 years old right now. He needs to win trophies for himself. If he's looking at Trippier, Walker, who else? Eriksen's won a trophy. I mean, even Foyth has won a trophy.
Mate, listen, I totally hear you, mate. It's becoming embarrassing now, and I feel your pain. I really do, as a Spurs fan. Listen, bro, thanks for coming on and having your top man. Thank you, Alex. I've reached out to a number of Spurs fans to see if they come on and have a word with us now, if they come on and react. Haven't heard back from them just about yet. If you know any Spurs fans, do it. I'm going to share the link again if you want to phone up and have your say. If you're a Tottenham fan, put that on your name when you dial in, because I will prioritize Spurs fans coming on and having your say. Just under 2,000 people watching, but I need that like button smashed. I need you to subscribe to the Football Terrace. We're going to be getting KJ and Igal on very, very soon to have their say. Before that, Daniel, excuse me, who is a gooner, is here to have his say. Daniel, what are you saying? Nothing. Well, I'm not sure what happened there with Daniel. Maybe he'll call back in a moment. So I'm going to go to Igal to have his say with us now. What are you saying, Igal?
It's happened again. It's happened again. Tottenham Hotspur. It's happened again. These guys just do it all the time, Terry. What did I tell you earlier? We were talking about it. And I was saying how these guys have had so many options that they've looked at. And at this point, you cannot say anything but this is an absolute embarrassment what they've gone through this whole time. Even if they were to land Conte, it's not their first choice, it's not their second choice, not their third choice. It's like their seventh choice at this point. And it's not, which direction is the club going in? I don't see them getting any better. They're getting worse. The way they were supposed to be one of the best run clubs, Terry, because of the valuation of their players and the amount of money that they actually invested to get those players.
Mhm.
They invested less money than Southampton at one point, and they were competing in the Champions League. So it just goes to show you, these guys, they were being touted as one of the best run clubs. Daniel Levy being credited for being this great negotiator. At this point, I don't know why any Tottenham fan would say, "Yo, Daniel Levy should be still rewarded for what he's accomplished in the long term."
Well, look, Daniel Levy, as you say, he hasn't delivered the trophy. He hasn't even had to deliver a new manager. And I think what's really embarrassing, it's the number of public rejections, managers that it's the briefing of certain press. As I said yesterday, if it was just kind of talks are ongoing, nobody would have got excited. When you have Alistair Gold, I know some Spurs fans who are close to some of the media outlets, and they sort of said to me, listen, if David Heitner starts saying it's very close, it looks all but done, believe it's finished. These people are exceedingly close to Daniel Levy. And another tier one who has to remain nameless because otherwise I don't think anyone's going to watch me, but it could spread. Literally said to me earlier on, Daniel Levy is in a big mess if this goes wrong because he's been telling people it's done. The contracts are sitting there in London in an office waiting for Conte to arrive and sign. They thought it was done and dusted. And what's mad now is Fabrizio has just come out again. I'll come back to you in a second, Igal. Fabrizio has just come out again and said Antonio Conte wanted to bring more than 4 staff and was told he couldn't. There was a £3 million differential, €3 million differential on salary, which is about £2 million in new money. And the investment and project to win as soon as possible were another issue. That's why talks with Conte have stalled. So talks with Conte have stalled, no agreement yet. The big question is, will Daniel Levy succumb to the demands of Antonio Conte? The one saving grace for Spurs here, I will add this, is Christoph said to us yesterday, Antonio Conte has a habit of doing this, agreeing to things in the first instance, and then pulling away last moment to get more of what he wants. This is what could be at play here. But at the same time, a lot of people that know Daniel Levy say he doesn't take any truck with that. He would rather cut his nose off to spite his face. Tottenham fans, what do you want in this situation? I want to know right now. Please hit this like button, share this stream. If you know any Spurs fans that want to come on and have their say, share this link I'm putting in the live comment section now. Send them the StreamYard link. We want to hit. I messaged my dad. My dad just come back to me. My dad is a Spurs fan. I messaged him. I said, do you want to come on and talk about your most recent rejection? He said, fuck you, you're adopted. Cheers. Oh, I've gone dizzy laughing at that one. Igal is still here with me. I mean, do you think there's any road back in this deal? Do you think that Spurs will succumb to the pressure, bow down to Conte and give him what he wants?
Listen, I don't care what anybody tells me. At this point, I'm genuinely in belief that Tottenham Hotspur are headed in one direction, and it's downwards. And as much as you guys are making fun of Arsenal, I feel like we're on the rise, and these guys are on the decline. And we're going to see in a year's time, St. Tottenham Day is going to happen. These guys are going to fall off, and it doesn't matter who their manager is at this point. Harry Kane, if he stays after this whole debacle, he's a clown.
A lot of people would agree with you on that. They really would. Igal, if you can stay backstage, please do for us. We'll bring you back on in a bit.
I gotta go, man.
Shoot. All right, bro. Listen, you shoot off, mate, and I'll speak to you soon. Top man, thank you. KJ still to come and have his say on this. Before that, Alan is here. Alan is a Spurs fan.
Typical Spurs, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, I hope something can still be done. I don't see it though, because Daniel Levy, Conte might have done this before to get what he wants, but Daniel Levy is just one of them. I think most people will speak that do business with him and says he's an absolute arsehole basically to do business with. So I don't see that coming back around. It's not just that; it's so many things. So the 500 odd plus days that Pochettino didn't get back when we came second in the title, like second and third in the title, that didn't happen. We're still waiting on naming rights for a stadium, the Super League. Then when fans come back into the stadium, charging them over at £60 and then putting them up in the gods away from the fans, then the team didn't come out. It's just continual BS to do with this board. Daniel Levy has to go. We will never be serious contenders until he is out of the club. What Joe Lewis is doing on his yacht is beyond me. Is he just not giving a damn as well? For me, he needs to go. Igal, we are an absolute joke, trying to be a big team, and we are a joke, and it's all because of our board. And I just think until the board wake up or new owners come in, we will not challenge at the top end of the table again. That's just my opinion, because this ongoing stupidity in trying to get managers in. The things are correct what you're saying. 2 million and not wanting to compete now, wanting to bring through youth. If you ask many Spurs fans, I mean, in my lifetime, we won a title. We won a trophy in 2008. Then we last won in 99. I can remember the final, the 1-0 against Leicester. And then if you go back to the one that, like, the other title in my lifetime was 91. I don't even remember that because I was 5 or 6 years old. It's just 3 jokes in that many, and I'm 35 this year. 3 trophies in that amount. You're not a big club. And for me, I think Spurs fans need to wake up and smell the coffee that, especially with this building, we won't be challenging and we won't be a big team for years to come.
Mate, I feel your pain. I hear it. And listen, you know, my dad's a Spurs fan, and I never want Spurs to do better than my club. I'll be blunt about it. But I've always had this soft spot and wanted them to do well for my dad because, you know, one, my dad's a Spurs fan. Secondly, my dad, he had 5 sons, and he made us all almost actively not support Tottenham, which says a lot. And I'm so grateful. It's the greatest gift he's ever given me. Honestly, my dad gave me my receding hairline as well. I'll take the receding hairline to have not been a Spurs fan. So thank you very much, Dad. I love you for that so much. But it's comical now. And it's not just, you know, if you went for Conte and it didn't happen, fair enough. But there's Nangman, there's Brendan Rodgers, there's hints of other managers that you've spoken to, the Southgates, and they keep getting denied. I'm just intrigued now to see what will happen, whether you will go back for Conte. And as you say, Levy's hard-nosed, hard-faced in these circumstances. You know, doesn't like he's being put out of joint. What's he going to do there? That's one question. And then who's next? I mean, who else out there do you conceivably think you could bring in that's got the ability to get you back pushing for top 4 and for trophies?
That's available. None for me. It looks like it's going to be. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Sorry, I had to move something.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, that's my son. That's my son Archie.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I don't see anybody getting us a challenge. I think it will end up being Martinez, a Potter, or Parker now, if the Conte doesn't happen. And there was me thinking that after everything that happened with the whole Super League and the end of the season, I thought that this was the ball trying to show that we're now trying to be a serious club and challenge. And it looks like it was only a smoke and mirror to get people to renew their season ticket, which goes to show that this club and that they only care about the bottom line and the profit they make rather than the fans and having success on the pitch. How can you not want success on the pitch straight off the bat with a manager that can do that, who can turn a team around like Conte can? It's ridiculous. It's an absolute joke.
Listen, I totally. There's a comment here that says, "What did Spurs fans expect when you sack a manager with the pedigree of Jose Mourinho? Really, who do you guys think you are, Spursy?"
If a manager doesn't work and is toxic, you have to get rid of him. It's as simple as that. So I said that Mourinho had to go. He's gone. Now my focus is completely on Daniel Levy and this build and getting him out, because this keeps happening and we're not moving forward as a club. We're actually going back. And yeah, Arsenal are going back too. But the way it's going, if we don't get ourselves sorted out, you know, we're going to be, like I said, could be lower than mid-table next season. And we've only got ourselves to blame because of the people that run our club.
Well, do you know what's interesting? Sacking Jose isn't the problem, but where's the plan?
Exactly.
There was if you knew Nagelsmann was number 1, and if you knew Brendan Rodgers was number 2, if Conte was number 3, I don't think he was at the time of the sacking, but if it was, do your due diligence. Know you can bring these people in. You did it very well when you sacked Poch and went to Jose in terms of the planning and the timing. One was ready straight away. It just appears that you've sacked Jose without any thought, without any planning, without any kind of knowing who we can go for. And you're asking managers, and it's like you've got no idea whether they're going to say yes or not. And every time there's egg on the face, I would just be so embarrassed right now.
Yeah, trust me, as a Spurs fan I am. Mourinho should have gone after Zagreb, but the reason why it was delayed and he was sacked when he did was because it saved money. Because he was out of Europe, no trophy had been thing, so it saved the most money. And that's why it was done then and there. And then to put Mason in, he done all right 4 out of 6, but any decent team became. So for me, Daniel Levy is only thinking about the bottom line. For me, he has to go. Enoch has to go. We need an overhaul, and maybe only when we get a new owner in we'll be able to do what Chelsea, Man City do and spend and compete and all that, because that's what you have to do nowadays in the game, rather than spending and buying players at 5 or 10 million and hoping they progress over 3 seasons. It's not the mould anymore. It's been shown by Man City and Chelsea. Leicester was an anomaly, but apart from that, you have to spend big to win, and we don't do that.
I completely and utterly get where you're coming from. I've always said with Spurs, and whenever you say these things, when you're doing kind of well, people get annoyed by it, but I stand by it. You were trying to sort of, what's the word expression? You're trying to drink champagne, but with lemonade money.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes get away with that for a bit, and you did, because Harry Kane came through. Essentially, Harry Kane came through your academy and just gave you those goals that elevated the team to another level. And if he had never progressed in the way that he did, you wouldn't have got to where you did. And to maintain that, you had to spend. And the scary thought is this: selling Harry Kane or keeping him for the next 5 years to replace Harry Kane's goals. That's 150 to 200 million pound investment in the modern day game. So whatever happens, something needs to give at some point, because he's impossible to replace.
It's not just that as well. It's his assists as well. He's filled in and done the Ericsson role because we never replaced Ericsson. So now you have to replace 2 roles with one person, and our team already needs about an overhaul of 4 or 5. Well, unless a miracle happens, we are going to be less than mid-table next season. I just got a really bad feeling about this season coming, and it's all because of the people in charge and running our club, all to focus on the bottom line and how much profit and revenue we can make, rather than getting success on the pitch. And that's how it feels season in, season out. And it's only getting worse.
Totally hear you. Listen, Alan, thanks for coming on and having your say of us tonight. Really appreciate that, my guy. Thank you. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the Football Terrace, turn on the bell notifications as well. Flix and Abdul, both Tottenham fans, coming up very soon. But first, KJ's here with us to give us his thoughts and feelings on the Conte deal right now, falling through and being off. KJ, what you saying, mate?
This is the history of the Tottenham. This is all it is. This is all it is. Keelan is the best. You know what? Yeah, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone knew that this was a hard deal to pull off for Spurs. Everyone knew this. So there's no real shock that it didn't happen. It's just kind of funny because they was getting gassed. You know what I mean? And rightly so. Everything looked like it was going to happen. Everything looked like it was about to go through. And then Spurs are being Spurs. Like, it is just peak. It is just peak. I feel for people like Tans and Tobes and some of their fans, because they just want their team to be the best, and they've got that pagan Levy who can't get the job done. He has to get sacked, surely, after this. The way that he's handled Jose getting fired, the way that he's handled Ryan Mason, the cup final, the Harry Kane situation, everything, he has to get sacked. There's no one else to blame anymore. There's no one else to blame anymore.
And that's it. There is nobody else to blame. And I think where this just adds salt to the wound is, like I was saying earlier, and you know the tier 1 that I'm talking about, because we've had conversations, but I'm not able to reveal this. Levy was the guy yesterday briefing the Tottenham press, and they were all saying it from more than likely to happen, definitely going to happen, done. It was a mixture of the way they decided to present it as journalists, but all roads pointed to it being done and dusted. He thought it was done. He consulted with people that it was done. Contracts were drawn up. He was reported to be leaving his holiday to go and sign it. And then I got a message this morning, and I showed you all in the group chat from Christoph. Just that one snippet. He said, "Oh, he's pulled the rug from under Spurs' feet. Let's see what happens." And his words were predictable with laughing emojis, wasn't it? Like, I'm not even making this up. And it was let's see what happens over throughout the course of today. And exactly what Christoph said would happen has happened. But this is where it's embarrassing for Daniel Levy. No due diligence. I am not in the know when it comes to football. I'm a fan who runs a YouTube channel and talks to people. I had one conversation with the journalist that knows Antonio Conte and learned that he does things like this. How did Daniel Levy have negotiations, think it was done, start telling everybody it was done, and didn't expect there to be this. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like,
Yeah, but I know none of them get you. How has he not spoken to every other club who's had him as a manager and not known what he wants? You should know this about Conte. You know what I mean? You should know that. You should know that if he's gonna come here, I have to give him X, Y, Z, or else fall apart. This man Levy clearly don't keep up with football. Because how do you not know this about Conte? He's got this written on his forehead, and he's not shy about it. It's not covert. It's legit. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And then man tried to swindle him into oh, you can have some of this, but none of that. And you're going to have 4. You only have 3 people, not 4. It's just like, bro, it ain't never gonna work. And this is what everyone said. It's never gonna work with Levy and Conte. It never will, because if it's not gonna work with Jose Mourinho, who was the guy that Levy was after, it ain't gonna work with Conte, bro. It ain't. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Spurs need to remember who they are and go back to what they're good at. Building up managers and players to a good status and then hoping something happens from there. Go get Graham Potter. Go get Scott Parker. Go get Eddie Howe. Go get Steven Gerrard. Go get a young up-and-coming manager, because they're not going to complain about the funds. They're not gonna be angry that you sold Harry Kane. They'll probably say, yo, listen, I'll work without Harry Kane. Give me that 100 million, 150 million, spend it across the squad because there's holes to fill, and we'll go. Conte ain't gonna be doing that. Conte's gonna be right. We keep Kane, we keep Son. I need 200 million, 250 million to spend on the entire squad. They need to remember who they are. There ain't no big club like that. They're not. I'm sorry, Spurs fans, you're not that kind of club. Your club has forgotten who the hell you are in search of what? In search of glory. But the glory hasn't been coming for years, so what difference does it make? Go back to what you know. Young incoming manager, young players, go again.
Well, what's interesting is about the tweet from Fabrizio was around one of the problems is investment and the project to win, and then he like there's sort of highlighted is a bit as soon as possible. Maybe Conte looked at it and said, hang on a minute, you want me to win straight away, but you're only investing this. No way. And I think
it's all the way around. I think he wanted to win straight away, and Spurs were well, actually.
Right, yeah. And again, but you know what we say, you know what it says before? I always use expressions as an example. Maya would fall into this category, no doubt about it. I think Flix, who's backstage, is also one as well. I'm trying to think of Spurs fans that I remember having this conversation with. They want to try and win things, but a lot are more like Alex. A lot are a little bit more sort of like my dad. Oh, do you know what? I'm happy to come 5th as long as the football's pretty. And the problem is you can't sell that to an Antonio Conte, who in his last 7 seasons as an active manager has won 5 league titles and 2 domestic trophies. You can't sell a project to him that isn't, we've got to try and win. It's an absolute madness that they've done that. It really, really is, bro. But listen, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy man at this moment in time. Enjoy yourself, my friend, and I will catch up with you soon. Take care, mate.
All right, see you catching a bit. Yo, Potter to Spurs. Let's go, people.
Potter to Spurs. I mean, I don't even know if it's going to be Potter, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. 2,200 people watching right now. That is amazing. Thank you for your support tonight on the terrace. If you're a Spurs fan, if you're a rival and you want to have your say, I'm posting the StreamYard link in the live chat feature right now. So you can dial up, you can have your say, and you can let us know what you are thinking and feeling. We're getting Flix on in a few short moments. Of course, Flix is a big Tottenham fan. I can tell by his face. I see the disappointment in his face as it stands right now. But yeah, a lot of comments here, right? From I feel some Spurs fans are like gutted. I've seen a lot of the words Spursy here. Conte rejected Spurs to come to Arsenal. That would be hilarious. I mean, probably not going to happen, but it would be funny for the banter and for the timeline. Flix is with us here now. Mate, disappointing news, disappointing night. Give me your thoughts.
Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Me personally, I'd want Poch back, but at the end of the day, he's not going to get that back in. He should have got that back in before he got the sack, and Levy knew that. But the guy is so money, and he just wants to have it for himself. He doesn't want to invest one bit. Doesn't give a toss. I've been saying it for many years, a good 7-8 years now, and it's taken this long for people to finally wake up and see what this guy is actually doing. And even the other Muppet, Joe Lewis, Enoch, you know, it's not good enough anymore. And like my man said earlier, we're gonna finish mid-table if we're lucky in this new season. And if Kane goes, it's gonna kill me. But at the same time, I don't blame the guy because he's a winner. And obviously, if he goes, Son, he most probably will follow him. Then he's going to go as well. Is Bell going to stay at least one more season? I really don't know. I personally think the guy's going to retire after the Euros. So we're only going backwards now.
Yeah, it must feel sort of, as you said, painful to kind of watch that and feel it. Harry Kane, you mentioned him. I think most Spurs fans, as you say, would be quite supportive of him leaving. Imagine how he's feeling right now. This news, he must have been on international duty going, I'll have a bit of Antonio Conte. If I can't leave, I'll have a bit of that world-class manager. And now he's thinking, what's this all about? And it's no player is going to speak out bad. If you announce Graham Potter or Eddie Howe or Martinez, Harry Kane is not going to come out and say who the hell is. You know, he's not going to pull off a Conor McGregor and say, who is this guy? But you know that's what he's going to be thinking in his mind. Like, to go from Poch, who's now managing PSG, to Jose Mourinho, to Martinez or Potter or Eddie Howe, it must be anticlimactic for someone like a Harry Kane. And if they try and keep, what could make it a really toxic year is then forcing Harry Kane to stay and creating a really horrible environment there. That could end up leading to having a worse season than selling Harry Kane, really. And it must just feel like a bit of a, like you're in a bit of a dark tunnel at the moment with no light. Exactly.
It's like there's been rumours of Poch coming back. Is it going to happen? Because it's been. Well, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, rumours. It's probably mostly rumours, but apparently him saying that he wants to hand in a transfer request of leaving them and coming back to us. I don't know what to believe.
Well, I don't think he's particularly happy at PSG. They're not overtly the most well-run club, but PSG are digging their heels in. Maybe that's what happens now. Maybe now Spurs try and pay more or do something at the other end of the spectrum. I don't know. But Romario, this is the worst I've felt as a fan since the Champions League final, Terry. Absolutely gutted. And that comes through Daniel Levy jumping the gun. Daniel Levy thinking the deal was done and dusted. Reported. You must have, when the likes of David Heitner and Alistair Gold were tweeting about it last night, and Alex Cook, and you must have been thinking, I can't believe this is happening, because those people very rarely go out on a limb because they're so close to Levy. Yeah. They basically eat Christmas dinner at his house. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of them ones, my guy. Listen, Flix, I appreciate you coming on and having and I had a really difficult night. Top man, thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you for this super chat, mate. The link, I've posted the link already. I'll post it again in the live chat functionality. You'll see it there. Get onto it. We have a big super chat that's coming here from my guy, Jason Reed, who says, Spurs are a joke of a football club. No ambition FC. Built the best stadium in Europe only to put the clearance rack players on the pitch. You're dead. We're dead food. Chuck the entire freaking club in the bin. Hey, that is a serious, strong reaction. At first, I thought that was a rival fan who was taking the piss. Turns out it's not. It's a Spurs fan who thinks and feels in that exact way. I mean, that's just, you can feel that pain through those words. Thank you very much for the super chat. Next on the show, Abdul's with us. Abdul, I know, is a Spurs fan. He was buzzing last night about the idea of Antonio Conte. That dream appears to be over. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Damn, that shit ran out quick, huh? I was excited for like 24 hours, man, and now I'm back to reality. It's typical Spurs. It's typical Daniel Levy behavior. Like, how are you gonna like get all the fans' hopes up? And I even put a lot of blame, not really blame, but all those tier one, Alistair Gold, all of them are saying that, Antonio Conte is coming to Tottenham, and I know it's pretty much what Daniel Levy has told them probably, but if you're Daniel Levy, like, why are you spreading all these like positive rumors if you're not 100% guaranteed that he's signing? You have all these stipulations, all these objectives that you couldn't even accomplish. How you're saying that Antonio Conte can only bring 4 of his crew members, 4 of his support staff, and he needed like at least 7. And it's like, why is he playing so hard? Like, why is he playing such hardball? Like, Daniel Levy needs to understand that, again, he is running Tottenham, and Antonio Conte is right now at a much higher level than Spurs. So getting Antonio Conte, you need to be doing everything and anything possible to get his signature. And I do think the part where it kind of went sour was like the future plans. Antonio Conte is not really a future manager. If he's coming to Spurs, he wants to win now. He's a winner. He wants to, he wants to play at the top competitions. He wants to have the best team possible right now. And Daniel Levy, as you probably said that, like, hey, you're only going to be given like, I don't know, like 70 million in the transfer budget. Make that work and try to get top four with that. And now the good thing is now it's putting all the negative attention on Daniel Levy. Like, now everybody is talking about Daniel Levy now, and now you have to sack him, or you have to put a lot of blame onto him. You have all these news of Antonio Conte coming to Tottenham. It's been on Sky Sports, ESPN FC, all these different big sports broadcasting programs are putting out this news like it's official. And now that it's not official, and clearly Antonio Conte has rejected, and now we might end up with like a Scott Parker or Graham Potter or whatever. I'm not gonna say shitty manager, but not the level that we want.
In comparison, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's, it's almost. I understand what you're saying about the tier ones. The tier ones are only going to report on information that they're given. That for me is then on Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy should have kept his mouth closed until that paperwork was signed, and he didn't, and he's gone out with it. And as I said, I spoke with the tier one. I wish I could say his name, but I can't. Earlier on, whose exact words were, "Daniel Levy is fucked if this doesn't go through," and that's because he's going to damage his reputation with journalists and all sorts of people close to the football club, because he said it's done. He made this whole big thing about, we're getting it done. One of the big things that you saw from the Tottenham tier ones yesterday is part of the agreement is Harry Kane isn't going to leave. Like, using Harry Kane's name and everything to get this deal done. It's just so embarrassing for it to go the other way. It really is.
Exactly.
Abdul,
quick thing. He looks like a complete clown. Yeah, he looks like a complete clown. And, you hear all these conspiracy reports that, like, he only put out those news because he wants the people for the season ticket owners, he wants to rebuy. And it's like, you can't really disagree with that anymore, because it's perfect timing that Antonio Conte is coming to Spurs right before the people are buying their season tickets. And it just shows how money hungry, how greedy he is, just how like manipulative Daniel Levy can be. And it just makes him look as bad as possible. And now, if Joe Lewis, the owner, if he doesn't come and if he's not harsh on Daniel Levy, then, we got to look at him too, because, you got to be harsh on Daniel Levy, even though they have a great connection together. And
yeah, absolutely. Mate, I hear you completely. Abs, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man. Peace. Thank you. Bradley here with the super chat says, from the other day where we said the Igal's Arsenal with desire to join, does it mean the future product for the club ain't attracting, so they could lose key players? Of course, Bradley. Listen, thank you for the super chat. It means a great deal to me. And to answer that properly for the money you've donated, I will. If top managers don't buy into your project, why are top players going to buy into it? They're just not. Players want to join for a particular. Players will take a risk at joining a club. Joining Man United is a risk because you're not as guaranteed to win as maybe you are at Chelsea or Manchester City or Liverpool at this moment in time. But there is an ambition to try and win still. There is a thought process and belief that you are going to try and win something. It's legacy. Yes, you're going to earn great money, but it's going to be legacy building. Right now, it appears no one wants to join Tottenham. In fact, their best player wants to leave. The fans are angry. No top manager in Europe wants to join. You've got Brendan Rodgers that rejected 2 big money offers. They started talking to the likes of Roberto Martinez and Gareth Southgate. And Gareth Southgate they went after. And the reason they went after Gareth Southgate, there was this notion, there was this thought from Daniel Levy of Southgate and Harry Kane are very good friends, they're very close. So the idea was, can we bring in Gareth Southgate and use that as a weapon essentially and leverage to keep Harry Kane? Madness thought. No, not about Southgate's ability, not about his quality, not about what he could bring to Tottenham Hotspur. It was, can it keep Harry Kane? Weird train of thought. as a football club. You're not thinking about the football club. You're thinking about yourselves in that. The super chat here says, why don't Spurs go for Ten Hag and rebuild? They went for him and he signed a new deal at Ajax. Now, there was a thought that that was done so that Ajax would get compensation or bigger compensation. But what does the last 3 days say to Ten Hag? They went for Poch and they went for Conte over him. They went for Nangelsmann in front of him. They went for Brendan Rodgers in front of him. They made inquiries before him to Gareth Southgate. That isn't a great leg to stand on. Imagine this. You go up to a young lady that you've been after for a long time, but she has just stood there and watched you ask 5 or 6 other young ladies out before her and give them the same lines. Oh, yeah, you know, I don't know what her name is. Her name's Rachel. Rachel is my most favorite name. You know, you look like you know, did it hurt when you fell out of heaven and all that nonsense. Really bad chat-up lines, by the way. Never, ever use them. They're awful. They never work. But imagine she's heard you do all those same chat-up lines to everybody else. By the time you get to her, you really think you're going to be able to convince her? If she really is that classy right one for you, she's going to walk away because of the way you've behaved. It's an atrocious situation to be in. It really is. Next on the show, we've got loads more people to get through. We're going to get Imri on the show. He super chatted in. I said his name. He disappeared. So instead, we're going to go to Raza next. Raza Saeed is here with us. Raza, what you saying, mate?
Hey, Terry.
Who do you support?
I am a Liverpool fan.
Lovely. What do you want to say, my guy?
I see the problem with Tottenham. It was the same problem with Liverpool and right now a little bit with United as well. When the big clubs, they go down, spiral down, so they need to just go slowly. I mean, they just need to hire a very good coach, not the world-class coach, because world-class coach will not come because situation is so dire. They need a very talented coach who brings some young talent, and they have to need patience for 3 to 4 years so he can build them back to the top. So they are just, they, like you writed, they just want to quick fix. A very good manager, just throw it 200 million, buy 100 million Pogba, 75 million that, and 80 million that. It fix for a season or maybe a few months, but problem remains. You have to go slow and steady, otherwise you have no chance. Honestly, right now, no big name will go to Tottenham because they are in so deep trouble.
Mate, you're so right about that. And what you've said they should have done, they should have gone to straight away. They've made that hard now by very publicly being humiliated with all these other managers. It's now going to be very difficult to convince a young up-and-coming manager of the quality to join their club. My friend Raza, thank you for joining the show and having your say tonight, mate. Top man, thank you, my brother. All the best. Take care. Next up on the show, Tom Little is here. Tom is a Liverpool fan. Give me your thoughts. Antonio Conte, off.
It's the history of the Tottenham. When they get right to the line, they slip up, they bottle it, and they're back to Scott Parker again. It's where they should have probably started anyway. All they've done now, like you said, is make it harder. Graham Potter was the main man for them. That is who everyone should have done. It was like us with Rodgers, and it's like you with Solskjaer. Get someone who's decent, not world-class, decent, and let them grow with the club. If I was a manager now, I wouldn't want that Tottenham job. If Antonio Conte, who just went to Inter Milan, who were in a terrible state and made them champions, if Antonio Conte, who took a 10th place Chelsea back to first within a year, doesn't see the reason why he should believe in that Tottenham project, I wouldn't want to believe in it. I wouldn't, because it makes no sense. The way that club is run, they act like a top club, but they're run like a mid-table club. And that's why they won't achieve the success that they want.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you've said there. It's a painful state of affairs, really. And they're just gone about, what's the expression I would use? They've gone about it, arse about tit. It's just, you know what I mean? It's an absolute calamity. It truly, truly is. And as you say, that was the other name all day I've been forgetting. Scott Parker was in my head. That's the other guy they've gone for. And it's just, it's just mid-table quality they're going after now. And you know, it also shows, the standout point should be to fans. It tells you what you're doing in the summer transfer window, doesn't it? If Antonio Conte doesn't sign because you haven't got the ambition. So what you're expecting now moving forward, Tottenham fans, you have to
pull power
always
as well.
expectations. Exactly, bruv. Listen, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, Tom. Top man, thank you. We'll go through a few final callers here. First up, Daniel, the Arsenal fan, is here. What you saying, bro?
Can you hear me now, Terry?
Yes, bro, I can.
I don't know what happened when I first called in. It's a better evening. Spurs fans, I'll happily give you Arteta. He's a great manager. Please, I'll give you him. I'll give you him and his coaching staff. Please, I'll drive him. I'll drive him there. I'll give him to Daniel Levy. He's a top manager. He's a very top manager. He will elevate Spurs to title challenge, Champions Leagues. We'll take Conte, and you can have Tapas, Pulis, Mike L, Southgate. I'll happily give you to them. He's a top manager. What do you think, Terry?
I good, nice try. Not nice try, but with how far down the barrel that, I mean, I don't know what they might ask Glenn Hoddle to come out of retirement. I've no idea what Tottenham are going to do. Like, legitimately, no idea what they're about to do with this. Crazy.
It's the history of Tottenham. It's classic Spursy. I can't really laugh because my club is finished. It's ruined as a football club. But it just shows the levels between these two North London clubs. It's tragic how Arsenal, such a great football club, we've fallen. Spurs, and the Spurs are just Spurs. They've always been shit, but it just shows how dead these two North London clubs are. Really does.
Couldn't agree with you more. Listen, Dan, thanks for calling in and having your say. Yeah, you too, mate. Take care, mate. Thank you. Gunnar Express is here. What are you saying, Gunnar Express?
I mean, it's happened again, hasn't it? You know, Spurs thinking they're going to get Conte, thinking they're going to win the league. Some of them were saying, and come on, Conte was never going to sign for Spurs. What they want to do is develop young players and this and that, and that's not Conte's style. He wants to win trophies within the first 2 years of joining a club. Spurs can't facilitate that. They don't win trophies. So I don't know how the hell Tottenham fans expected him to come in, how they expected him to succeed if he did actually sign for them. But I mean, again, it's happened again. Spurs deserve it because they're just Spurs. They're smaller than Arsenal. They always will be. And like Daniel just said, Arsenal fans, we can have a good laugh, but obviously we're a bit in the mud right now. But Spurs, man, like we think we're bad. We think our owners are bad. We think that we're in the mud and that we're struggling. Spurs, they've been doing this for decades. So, I mean, yeah, I expected it. Again, I said that Conte would definitely not sign. I never expected him to sign. His style doesn't fit Spurs and what they want to do. And obviously that's been proven by what apparently has been said about how he doesn't want to join and he doesn't want to develop young players. That's not what he wants to do. So I fully expected it.
Yeah, and there's I think, hang on. There's some very partial interview here from Antonio Conte's meeting with Daniel Levy.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Literally, man. That's the first thing I think of. Like, that's the first thing I think of when you say Conte to Spurs.
Yeah, it's happened. Listen, mate, thanks for coming on, having your say. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. I know there's a lot more people that want to come and have their say tonight, but we are out of time. We're back tomorrow with more content for you. I'm sure this Tottenham managerial roller coaster is going to continue. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again